Let's answer the question, aren't people basically good? Many people believe that humans are basically good. Lots of people believe that given the right opportunity, the right upbringing, we'll choose to do the right thing. In other words, we are really good at our core, we just need to have the right environment around us. This is a really popular belief, but is it what the Bible says? The Bible teaches us that we have a sin problem, and just how deep does this sin problem go? Let's begin by looking at Romans 3:10 through 18. This passage brings together a lot of different verses from the Bible that speak about humanity. We read, "As the scriptures say, no one is righteous, not even one. No one is truly wise, no one is seeking God. All have turned away, all have become useless. No one does good, not a single one. Their talk is foul, like the stench from an open grave. Their tongues are filled with lies. Snake venom drips from their lips. Their mouths are full of cursing and bitterness. They rush to commit murder. Destruction and misery always follow them. They don't know where to find peace. They have no fear of God at all." This is a pretty harsh indictment against humanity. None of us are righteous. None of us are wise. None of us really seek after God. None of us do the right thing. We don't fear God. Let's look at one more passage, Jeremiah 17:9. "The human heart is the most deceitful of all things and desperately wicked. Who really knows how bad it is?" Jeremiah sums up everything that we read in Romans and says that our heart is wicked, desperately wicked at its core. When the Bible talks about the heart, it's talking about the place where we make all of our decisions, where we have all of our most deeply held principles, and it says that the heart is desperately wicked. So according to the Bible, people aren't basically good, people are basically sinful. I think this is better than saying that people are basically bad. What the Bible really says is that we're sinful. Remember, sin is any time you choose to go your own path over God's path. And according to Romans and Jeremiah, we do that all the time. You see, sin isn't something that just affects us once in a while. It affects every part of us. Look at Isaiah 64:6. "We are all infected and impure with sin. When we display our righteous deeds, they are nothing but filthy rags." This verse tells us exactly how much sin affects us. It affects every part of us, our actions, our thoughts, and our emotions. Even the good things we do are tainted by sin. Ultimately, we don't do good things to honor God and to please Him, which should be our motivation. We do it for other reasons, usually selfish reasons. Now, let me say a couple things about what it means that we're basically sinful. First, we're not as bad as we can possibly be. Some people misunderstand the Bible's teaching on sin, and they think the Bible is saying that all of us are just hopelessly awful, meaning we're as bad as we could possibly be. The vast majority of humanity is not like Hitler. The vast majority of humanity are not a bunch of murderers, and so thankfully we're not as bad as we could possibly be. That's not what it means to say that you're basically sinful. You could be worse than you are. And second, sinful people can still do good things. Before you put your faith in Jesus, you're basically sinful at your core, but that doesn't mean that you never do anything that's good. You can still be a good spouse, a good parent, you can still be a good neighbor, a good employee. It's just that all those good things are not done for the right reasons. If you're not a Christian, they're not done to honor God, they're done for other motives. So you can be basically sinful and still do some good things, but without God, we consistently choose our path over God's path. And so all of this teaches us that only God can save us. We're not basically good. We're basically sinful. As a result, we can't do anything to improve our situation. We need God to rescue us. And the good news is that He wants to rescue us. Our hope isn't in ourselves, it's in God. Now go ahead and pause the video and discuss some of these questions.